Hello everyone, my name is Andrew and I'm an applications engineer here at DRD Technology. This is the final part of a series where we are exploring shell modeling and meshing using Ansys Discovery and Mechanical. In this video, we will midsurface the solid model of a motorcycle chassis and utilize the weld feature in Discovery and Mechanical to connect all surfaces together. Jumping in, we'll navigate to the Prepare tab and utilize the midsurface feature to create our initial surfaces. Similar to part 2, we will remove extend surfaces, as we will be creating weld bodies that will connect all surfaces together. When the operation is complete, you will notice that each solid body has turned transparent, and there will be a mid-surface between each parent body. We will now navigate to the Assign Weld feature. Please note that use of this feature will require Discovery Premium. Using this tool, we are able to go through and select different edges that we would like to characterize as weld bodies for later use in the meshing process. However, this model has a lot of edges and it could become very tedious to go through and select each one. In this case, we'll utilize this drop-down menu where we're able to select a minimum and maximum distance. We'll ensure that our maximum is greater than the largest gap between two bodies that we would like to create a weld entity, and then we'll go ahead and box select our entire model. Each body containing a weld element is highlighted in orange. However, each specific edge that will be used to create these welds is highlighted in purple. Since we used the selection filter, you will notice that we have picked up some edges that we do not want to include as welds. To get rid of these, we can use this setting here, and we can go through and deselect each edge that we want to remove. Now, with all of our desired edges selected, we can go ahead and hit the Accept button. What you'll notice is that each weld element has been created and is highlighted in neon. You can also scroll through the tree and notice that an individual body has been created for each one of these welds. With this, we are now ready to move on to mechanical. Here in Mechanical, we have updated the geometry, which you can do by refreshing the model in Workbench, or you can right-click on Geometry and update geometry from source. This is handy as it retains connectivity between geometry on the CAD level and in Mechanical. This allows any change, no matter how small, to be updated easily and regularly into your simulations. Jumping into the geometry, we're going to assign a material to all of our newly created surfaces. And you will also notice that a weld line body has been included for each assigned edge. In this model, we want to create two different types of welds: normal, which are also known as extension welds, and angled, which are also known as tent or fillet welds. This will be shown during the meshing process, but it will be easier to recognize the type of weld to be assigned by going through and naming these bodies accordingly. Moving through the tree, we will delete any automatically generated contacts, as this method will share nodes between parts and we will not need to define any connections. Moving on to the mesh, we will assign a desired global element size and navigate to the Mesh tab to insert a weld control. You can also find this by right-clicking on the mesh, insert, and weld. Within our weld control, there are various options for characterizing our welds. We will begin by modeling our fillet welds. We will use the normal and angled option to create angled surfaces and extension surfaces between our bodies. We will leave our weld element rows at the default, and this allows you to set one or two elements to the thickness of your welds. We will create using curves, and we will leave our angled direction at normal. In the case that your angled component appears on the incorrect side, you can use the reverse option to reverse the direction of the angle, or you could use both to create fillet welds on both sides of your edge. We will use the worksheet to define multiple weld entities at once. However, if you are looking to define one weld element at a time, you can change this to body selection to gain access to all of your unassigned line bodies within the tree. Moving down, there's an option to generate name selections for each weld, which is very handy for future analysis of the welds. There's also an option to set a material to our welds, and we will use the generic structural steel in this case. We will now access the worksheet, and to populate this, we will use the Create Controls for All Curved Bodies option. This will grab all of the unassigned weld bodies within the tree, and as you can see, there are various options for defining our welds. Additionally, you can use the Export button to create an Excel file, and after editing, you can re-import the settings using the Import button. In this case, we only want to model our fillet welds on this control, so we'll go through and remove all of our normal welds. Finally, we will add a weld control for our normal welds. Moving back to the mesh, you will notice how all of our line bodies are now highlighted in blue. This denotes that they will be used within this meshing operation. Additionally, you could select each weld control to see the specifically assigned welds. We will now generate our mesh. Please note that this version, 2025 R2, uses prime mesh as the automatic mesh method. Therefore, all we need are the weld controls. If you're using versions 2024 R1 to 2025 R1, or if you have a mixture of solids and surfaces, you will need to couple the weld controls with this method, set it to prime mesh, and scope it to all bodies that will contain welds. Now that our mesh is generated, we can take a closer look at our welds. Our normal welds have an extension surface between bodies and share nodes. Our fillet welds also extend between bodies and have our angled and normal components. Checking our overlapping parts, we can see that the weld has generated without issue. The methods shown in Part 1 and Part 2 required extra steps such as extending edges up to surfaces or using connections. However, as you can see, welds are able to handle overlapping parts with ease, even if they have large gaps. You will now notice that there are different colors associated with our weld line bodies. Clicking on the weld controls, we can further see that the blue tags represent a generated weld. However, the yellow tags represent a weld generated with warnings, and the red tags represent an errored weld that has not generated. And as you can see, our weld indeed has not generated. For our warnings, we'll enter the message pane, and we can see that all of our warnings point to an angled direction that could not be determined. In this case, we can go through and examine all of our angled components for our fillet welds and make sure they are pointing in the right direction. For our errored welds, we can open up the message for further view. And we can see that this failed because the gaps were too large between our parent bodies. Note that we have used a body transform to raise this component. In normal cases of mid-surfacing parts that are already connected, this will not be a common issue. You can also enter the worksheet by toggling these drop-downs here, and you'll see that our welds that were generated with warnings are highlighted in yellow, whereas our errored welds are highlighted in red. You can also right-click on each weld to get a couple of options. We can go to the generated weld bodies in the tree, and what you'll notice is that whenever our mesh generated with the welds, they've actually created surface bodies for each weld with various properties. Our original weld line bodies are set to construction body so that they will not affect further analysis. In order to troubleshoot our errored welds without changing the options for all of our fillet welds, we can right-click on each weld and promote it to its own weld control. With our errored welds separated, we can now change Create Using Curves to Create Using Curves and Bodies, so that we can select the bottom and top parent bodies to help the mesher locate the gap. We will also change our scoping method from name selections to geometry selection. Now we'll go through and select the parent bodies. With this, we'll remesh, and Before remeshing, it is always a good idea to clear the generated data. Since our welds share nodes, we can prevent further meshing issues by doing this. Now that our mesh is generated, we can see that our welds are still not appearing. In the message pane, we can see that our gap is still too large. Since selecting parent bodies didn't help the mesher realize the gap, we can come here and adjust the weld height. After determining the correct distance between the gap, you can go ahead and assign a value. Now you can see that welds have generated, however they do not span the entire length of the edge. Upon further review, we can see that there is still a small gap between our bodies. In this case, we will adjust the weld height to be slightly larger. Now our welds encompass the full length of our edges. However, we can see that errors were still generated. We'll go ahead and check to make sure these aren't important. Again, you can see that the angled direction cannot be determined. However, our angles are pointing in the correct direction. And you can see that the mesher has realized that there is problematic geometry attached. We can quickly examine our welds to ensure that they are as desired. In our case, we are okay to proceed. To ensure that all of our bodies share nodes for load transfer, we can navigate to the Display tab and set the color option to Bi-Body Connection. A pink highlight will appear in all regions of shared nodes. In this case, will be edges. You will also notice that our weld bodies are in the way, and we can remove these by navigating to the Geometry tab and hiding all of our construction line bodies. An easier way to do this, however, is to right-click in the model plane, Hide, and Line Bodies. Now we can see that all of our welds share nodes between parent bodies. To recap, we have created weld entities in Discovery that were recognized and used to create weld bodies with ease in Mechanical. Again, I will note that Discovery Premium is required for this workflow. You can specify the weld type based on your application and control each weld with various settings. This is a highly automated approach, especially for large models that contain a great number of welds. This method, compared to Part 1, can also get past problematic geometry with ease. There is no need to extend surfaces or create additional surface bodies for connection, and this is mainly handled at the mesh level, so you can take advantage of parallel part meshing. The mesher creates unique weld bodies which can be assigned their own material, feeding directly into additional workflows and saving time. This will conclude this series on surface modeling and meshing. Thank you for watching, and if you are interested in more information related to Ansys Discovery or Ansys Mechanical, click the link in the description below.